So, The Walking Dead has a special place in my heart, but if we're being honest, I don't really care about the spin-offs. The Walking Dead's main series has been on the air since 2010 now, and it's been a roller coaster ever since. After many successes, there's also been many failures, and at its conclusion, it's really about time that the main show wrapped up. So, of course, along with the main show wrapping up, we had a lot of turmoil. We had characters leaving the show, we had bad writing, we just had a ton of misdirection, which is unfortunate, but among all things, you know what we did get? We got spin-offs. We got 3, as a matter of fact. We have Dead City, which is Maggie and Negan. We have the Daryl Dixon show, which was supposed to be the Daryl and Carol show. It has since switched to just being Daryl because Carol doesn't want to do it anymore. And we have the more recently announced Rick and Michonne spin-off, which is really interesting as a premise, of course. I mean, we were supposed to get a trilogy with Rick, but we didn't end up getting that. The delays took forever. When we lost Rick in season 9, which I don't even remember how many years back that was now. That was many years ago. I started watching the show when I was a junior in college, and that was in season 8, so I must have been a senior when we lost Rick Grimes. So I must have been, I don't know, I can't even think, like 5 years ago, something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, we lost him a long time ago, and now we finally got the announcement after years and years of waiting that they're scrapping the movie idea, which we all knew already, and they're doing the spin-offs. So in the beginning, we had first heard of Dead City, which was the Maggie and Negan spinoff. We heard of that midway through season 11, if I remember correctly. And I was really excited for that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the idea of Maggie and Negan being in a spinoff together, on paper, it sounds really cool. And honestly, the trailers I've seen do seem really cool, but I could do without it, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like, their camaraderie is great, but I don't really care. I feel like there's no pull, and I think a lot of that has to do with something that we're going to get into later in a moment, but just as a quick spoiler, has to do with the current spin-offs, which are Fear the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead World Beyond, and the Tales of the Walking Dead one, which started out, on paper, great idea, just like how Maggie and Negan sounds like a great idea, but then we get the episodes and they're terrible. So those 3 spin-off shows have already stained my taste on anything that The Walking Dead is going to come out with now, because I really do genuinely believe that AMC has completely dropped the ball on anything The Walking Dead. And to be honest with you, I think they should really just give up the rights. They're never going to do that because it's a cash cow for them, but this is just speaking as a passionate fan of The Walking Dead IP. AMC has dropped the ball completely. I don't want them to be the showrunners of this amazing franchise anymore. I mean, look, I'm recording this the day after The Last of Us aired, the first episode. That was fantastic. That's how you do an adaptation, right? And I mean, we are only in episode 1, so I can't go too far into that. If you want to see my review of that first episode, you can click the link here. But that's a topic for another day. Regardless of what I'm saying, I really do feel like AMC dropped the ball on The Walking Dead. I really do think that they ruined the franchise, and after Robert Kirkman stopped being so involved with it overall, you could really see the decline in quality, and that's a shame. And I mean, it's not all of just the AMC's fault. If you think about the main franchise, there were a lot of actors that had to come and go. That is natural. People have lives. They're not just playing their characters and that's it for live. So like they have stuff to do. So I get it when a character leaves. I do understand when someone like Rick leaves the show. Abraham Lincoln, he wanted to be home. I'm sure there was other reasons, but if he wanted to make that call, that's fine. They had to work with it, totally understand it. Same with Maggie, blah, blah, blah. But when they decide to make horrible decisions, like, spoiler alert, major spoiler alert, Carl Grimes being killed, that is just ridiculous. But I already made a video on that. If you want to see that one, I'm going to link to it also here and down in the description. That's a topic for another day. But anyway, overall point, I'm rambling. I just think that The Walking Dead, up until this point, has dropped the ball. And while something, and I'm specifically right now referring to Dead City, while something like Dead City on paper sounds like a great idea, it's Maggie and Negan, they have good camaraderie together and all that stuff, and the setting itself, New York City, seems pretty cool, especially being that it's been an abandoned place. It's where after the fall, people were just abandoned there and things like that. That does sound really cool as a story, but I'm really, really worried that they're going to drop the ball. And honestly, this is a little bit of a spoiler as well. Out of all the spin-offs that they have announced, this is the only one I'm at least a little bit excited for, but still, I don't care. And that's because I don't want to care. Here's the thing. I don't want to care because of how bad they've dropped the ball, not only with the main series, because the main series had its moments, but the other shows, the spin-offs. Fear the Walking Dead, completely horrible show. Just a bad show all around. The Walking Dead World Beyond, I can't even begin to tell you how bad that one is. That may deserve its own video because I hate that show. I hate it. Absolutely despise it. And Tales of the Walking Dead, I don't want to say I hate because the idea on paper is great still. However, season 1 dropped the ball. They took what was a good premise for a story and absolutely dropped the ball. Like, why did they do it that way? I still, maybe I'll make another video about that. That one really bothers me in general. But look at me. Here, I'm doing exactly what The Walking Dead is doing, right? So here I am talking about things that frustrate me, and I'll say, oh, I'm making another video about it. That's exactly what The Walking Dead did with the series finale of The Walking Dead. Now, mind you, and again, look, here I am plugging another video I didn't make yet. I'll make a video on the ending eventually, but what I am saying is overall, The Walking Dead's last episode really did just feel like a marketing tactic for these shows, which is fine, because I understand that they have these announced, which they should have never done before the season aired, but they already did. They played the cards they were dealt. I'm sure that was AMC executives' thing that they wanted to get those out so that AMC's ratings would be better and things like that. But that whole last episode had a lot of, oh, this is just pushing the spinoffs. And it was a good ending. It was fine for what it was. It wasn't like the best ending ever, but it did really feel like just a ad, an hour and 20-minute ad just for those spinoffs. So I'm kind of rambling, but we already talked about Dead City. Premise sounds really good, to be honest with you, but I'm so worried that they're going to drop the ball, but I'm not letting myself care about this one. To be honest with you, it is really like the least of my concerns because the storyline actually sounds interesting enough to just check out. But the other two, I truly just don't care about. So let's start with the one that I actually really don't care about at all, and that's the Daryl Dixon show. I could care two rat asses about this show. Like, not at all. And that is not anything against Norman Reedus at all. Like, at all, really. I love Daryl Dixon. He is a great side character. Norman Reedus does a fantastic job as him. But do we really need a spin-off following Daryl, who could barely, honestly, hold himself on his own after Rick and the other characters left? Like, yes, I mean, as a character, he could hold himself, but as a lead in a show, I don't think so. And it's not because Norman Reedus isn't capable. I think he is a very capable actor. And I'm not just talking about The Walking Dead. I'm talking about other things he's done. He is a very capable actor. So I'm not worried about him acting poorly. But it's the image of Daryl Dixon. Daryl is a right-hand man. He is not a lead. And this is a story writing thing. You can't make him a lead. He just doesn't fit the trope. It's just not him. And I know there's a lot of people that disagree. I actually ran a poll on here talking about what your favorite characters' arcs are and things like that. And a lot of people said Daryl had the best arc of The Walking Dead. I don't understand that for the life of me. I don't even know what arc he technically had. If someone wants to let me know that, let me know in the comments, because I don't really see it. But yeah, he lost his brother. He grew a little bit from that. He was like crazy and reckless, and he got tamed. Okay, but there's like no real arc there. It's just he got more quiet and he went a lot more. Like, that's Daryl. That's all Daryl did. He is not a fucking lead. He's just not. So seeing that they're making a whole show about him, and not only just making a whole show, the premise of the show is he's going to France to look for Rick, I would assume. I don't know how he gets to France. Maybe he gets captured. I don't know. But anyway, when he gets to France, he meets up with this girl from a religious faction or something like that, and we're following her story across Europe. that doesn't even sound interesting. Like, I can't even pretend that sounds like an interesting plot, because it doesn't, especially knowing that it's just Daryl going to be there like, yeah, what are you doing? Like, I don't care. That was a horrible Daryl impression, but I am dead serious. Like, I just don't care to follow it. Will I watch it? Probably. I will see it because I am a big fan of The Walking Dead overall. So AMC is literally banking on idiots like me to watch the show that I know I'm not going to be interested in, but just to give it a shot because it has The Walking Dead in it. And yes, I am a sheep for that because I do love The Walking Dead overall. So I will check it out. Will I stick with it though? Honestly, probably not. I don't know. Unless it really wows me in the beginning, I just can't see myself sticking with this. I don't find Daryl a lead. I don't see him as someone who could carry a television show on his own. Limited run, 6 episodes, sure, why not? I'll check him out, whatever. But will I enjoy it? No, I don't care. I might not, but I don't care. If this gets canceled, cool, don't care. They're not going to cancel it. But, and again, one more time, this is not at all a diss to Norman Reedus, like at all. I think Norman Reedus is fine. I actually love Daryl Dixon as a character, but stay in your lane, bro. Like, stay in your lane. You are not a lead. It doesn't like work if you're like carrying a show. I mean, he's good and all that stuff, but stay in your lane, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, that's my real beef with the Daryl show. And even if they had Carol in it, to be honest with you, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't care. And I love Carol. She's one of my favorite female leads in the show, but I still wouldn't care. There's not much there that I care about. Their dynamic is great. Do we need to see more of it? Not really. Not really. It just feels like a shameless cash grab here. And for that reason alone, I don't like it. I don't know who the director of this one is, but I don't see that there's any passion behind this other than maybe from Norman himself. I don't see that there's any passion behind this. And obviously, all my complaints, it's not like it's going to go to anything. They're still going to do this anyway. This is a big entity, The Walking Dead. They just want to keep milking it. Totally get it. As from a business perspective, totally get it. But from a fan perspective, I hate it. I hate it. I don't care for it at all. So yeah, that's the Daryl one. And then lastly, the Rick and Michonne. Actually, I want to see what happened to Rick. I really do. So on that level, I care, but not about the show. I care about Rick Grimes. I care to know what happened there. But this show, I already just have this bad taste in my mouth, if I'm being completely honest, because World Beyond was terrible. And if we're seeing that this takes place in the Civic Republic, in Philadelphia, or wherever Jadis's group is, I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to see it at all. I have no interest. And obviously we knew Jadis took him away, so we knew that this was part of the plot. This was inevitably going to happen. But if World Beyond was like actually good, maybe I'd care. But it wasn't good, so I don't care. I really don't. I have no interest to see how he gets out of the Civic Republic. All I care about is him reuniting. And to be honest with you, all I care about is getting the closure of his story that we deserve. And it has nothing to do with the Civic Republic. I don't want to see 6 episodes and a limited run of him just escaping the CRM. I have no desire to see that. What I want to see is him come back to Alexandria, specifically come back to the Commonwealth, and him play out the exact storyline that took place in the comics. I really do think Robert Kirkman told a fantastic story there, and we've deviated so far from it, even though we've kept the same plot points. Like, we've kept the Commonwealth, we've kept the character names, we kept all of that stuff, even the Whisperers, but it was remixed to no end. Obviously, the main show had to do this because the characters were very different, so they had to work with what they were dealt. But I just want to see a finalization of the story. How he went out saying we are not the Walking Dead, that whole speech and all that. And I know we gave it to Daryl, but like that whole storyline, his contention with Sebastian, his contention with Pamela and all that, it was so good. And we're obviously not going to get it the same way. But honestly, I hope Rick dies. I really do. I don't want to see it go down with the stupid CRM. I have no interest. I think the storyline is stupid. And anyone saying, oh, a fight with Civic Republic and Commonwealth or whatever, it would be cool. No, just fucking get rid of that storyline. It's so stupid. It doesn't work. And it's not because on paper, the idea of there being a bigger base like CRM doesn't work, because it does. It's inevitable. That's what's going to happen in a realistic apocalyptic scenario. Totally understand that and all that stuff, but the way they told the story, the way they set us up in World Beyond has already stained any singular view I have on that storyline. And for that reason alone, seeing Rick with the trident logo or the 3-ring logo on his sleeve just automatically left a bad taste in my mouth, if I'm being completely honest with you. And again, it's Andrew Lincoln, Rick Grimes. He could be walking through a turd and it would still be at least decent. So for that reason, I completely understand that I'm going to watch it. I may end up liking it, but right now, I do not care. I don't care if we saw Rick never again. To be honest with you, I still wouldn't care. I'd be salty because I think we need closure on his story, but I really don't think I would care because what we're getting right now does not sound good. What I would have loved to have seen was kind of like, you know what? Actually, no. I don't have a script, so I'm kind of going off of my head. What I really want to see is a little bit of where he's been and where he's going, sure. But what I really want them to do is after these shows, I would love to see them all reunite for a real final season 12. And they could literally make a season 12 and call it Canon Walking Dead because I think it needs that time. And even if it's only 6 episodes, that's fine. I just think we need to see all of these characters back together, the dynamics that they have. I don't like the thought that these 3 pillar people in The Walking Dead, 4, I should say, Maggie and Negan, these 4 pillar, no, I should say 5 because Michonne too. These pillar people, they shouldn't all be separated. We want Daryl together. We want Rick together with them. We want Morgan, obviously, we want Morgan, that's a whole different thing. We want Negan, we want Maggie, we want them all to be together. But them doing these 3 spin-offs and separating them out does not do that. It actually just elongates something, and you could tell it's just a cash grab. It's like, oh, we're ending the show, but look what we're doing. Look what we're doing. We're going to milk it out. And it just bothers me to no end. I don't think this is really what anyone wants. I don't even know who's still watching The Walking Dead, to be honest with you, outside of like us core fans, because it really is us core fans. I don't know anyone in my life anymore who watches the show. Every single person that I've ever talked to that has seen the show stopped watching after season 7 or 8. And to me, it's like, okay, I get that. I don't know who else is watching it other than the people that are watching these videos and things like that. And honestly, that's sad. That's still a lot of people, but it's just sad. Like, it lost a big fan base for a reason. And I don't know, what they're doing here is not what they should be doing, to be honest with you. Now, that being said, spin-offs, not a bad idea. I have no problem with spin-offs if they're done right. And we haven't seen any of these, so maybe I'm judging them a little too hard, but I really don't care. But I just don't think them being in 3 separate areas when we want the story of what happened to Rick and we want him to meet up with everyone, not just Michonne. Like, it's not the way you should be doing spin-offs, in my opinion. A really good idea of spin-offs is something like what I am going to talk about in this video here. I will have it out, if you're watching this the day this video aired, I will have it out tomorrow. So I'm filming this and I'm also filming the other video simultaneously, and they're scheduled. So this one's going to go out today. That one's going to go out tomorrow. But there are a couple spin-off ideas that I think would be great that wouldn't deviate from what we should really be getting. And what we really should be getting is a reunion of all of these characters because Rick came back to Commonwealth or something like that. We shouldn't be getting 3 stupid spin-offs where Maggie and Negan go to New York to save Herschel. Okay, honestly, that out of all 3 of the stories, that has a pretty cool pull because those characters work. But Daryl, I don't even know what the hell that is. And Rick's, it's to me, it's stained because it's the CRM. I'm not saying I won't watch it, because I will. I will watch all 3 of these, and I will be reviewing all 3 of these in one way, shape, or form and doing character analyses and things like that. But overall, I don't care. The passion for them inside of me, it's just not there at all. It really isn't. And that's a shame because I love The Walking Dead. It really is a special thing to me, but these ones aren't doing it. This ain't it, Chief. And with that out of the way, thank you again so much for watching this video. I do recognize that in this video, I was saying, oh, click on this video, blah, 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 a little too much, but I'm firing on all cylinders. I don't have a script, so I'm just going off of my head. And these are all real, genuine things of how I feel, so I hope you could at least understand and appreciate that. And with that, again, out of the way, thanks again. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.